Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Careerwise, here to do battle on your behalf as ever. Now, when it comes to the primary sector, it's dominated by female teachers. The Training and Development Agency is anxious to get more men through primary school doors. This week, we visit a West Midlands primary school to talk to the 5 male members of staff.
I've been there for years and years and years and years, and I must tell you that it took me 15 years to get a toilet seat that would stay up without blue tack.
And Fiona Flynn will be looking at the pupil's perspective on the issue.
Hands up, who has been taught by a male primary school teacher? Why do you think there are more women than men working in primary schools?
Maybe it's because that women are more used to teaching than men, and men don't really have a good personality.
Only 15% of primary teachers in England are male. And of all those who embarked on teacher training last year, only 14% were men. In the studio, we'll be discussing this with Mike Watkins from the TDA and Martin Johnson from the ATL.
Looking after young children, whether it be educating or caring for them, is still seen fundamentally as a female role.
Too often male teachers find that they're the token man in a primary school. Careerwise went to visit one school where they're trying to make sure that that's not the case.
I was accountant for about 15 or 16 years, and I got involved in the school because my daughter came to this school, and I got dragged onto the PTA as the treasurer of the PTA. And as I was coming into this school every morning, it was sort of a wonderful, positive, vibrant atmosphere. And I was going back to my office where I really wasn't very happy with accountancy. I took a couple of days holiday, came in here, asked Mrs Hall if I could work for a couple of days here, and she said, yeah, come on in.
Turn your hand, pick the ball up, Alex, pick the ball up with your hand, turn around the other way.
I still think about when I'm sat in front of a class of 27, 28 children now. It's like an out-of-body experience, really. I'm thinking that really isn't me, but it is me teaching. It's incredible, really.
If you get the ball, Matt's going to chase you and tag you.
Yeah, okay, let's see you. I've just always gotten on well with younger children. In the street where I grew up in, there was just children up and down the road, and even when I was sort of really too old to play with the children, I still used to go outside and I used to play football with them and other sort of sports and games, and I've just always known I wanted to be a teacher, and I've just always wanted to work with the younger ones. Just that much? Oh yeah, there you go, I've just shown you a bit of it. Was that all right? You definitely know, Angel.
It's quite unusual to find more than possibly one man in a primary school or a first school. Here we're quite unusual because we've got, what, 4 of us, 5 of us?
Okay, happy now? Good girl.
And when I originally came here, I was the only man for a while. But then I was much younger, and being probably the youngest person here then, I think they all liked to mother me. It was quite fun.
When I worked at my last office, it was a sort of 4 male partners in a very male environment. It's quite domineering and sort of competitive environment to work in. I'm aware of stereotyping between males and females, but when I came to work here, the bias is very much more towards females here. I think it's much more empathetic, and I think we share not only jokes and resources and things, but just our worries as well. I think it's a much more open environment, which I quite like.
So you're not just using the picture, you're actually using the writing on there as well. I don't think it's your classic male stereotype job. I'd like to think that I'm going to sort of break away from that a little bit and show people that it is actually okay to have a man working in a school that does care for children. I don't think it's just a women's role being a teacher. And Jade, what's the lion wearing?
I think it's more important to have men in school, particularly in a primary school, because there are so many children who come from homes which are broken or from single-parent families where it is just a woman who's bringing them up, and they don't have that influence at home. And to see a man teach and just to have them around and experience them, I think that's really important. Yeah.
Sometimes parents come in and you know, they tell you that the children look up to you, and they say, oh well, with Dad not being here, they do always say, Mr. Kent doesn't let me do this, Mr. Kent doesn't let me do that. It does put a pressure on you, so it's something that you do have to live up to, and hopefully I am doing that at the moment.
Well done, George. Keep nice and close together. Matt, close together. Keep close together, okay?
I'm definitely more patient. You have to be. You couldn't do this job without being patient. So I found myself in the early days of really pulling my hair out, not privately and thinking, can I really do this? But you need to be patient because you get so much out of these children. It's fantastic.
Yes, unsurprisingly, I am actually married to a teacher that I met in college and married the year that we left. And she just teaches on the other side of town, which is good. So it gives us something to talk about. At least we don't teach in the same school, which would be death, probably.
Yeah, I met a couple of my accountancy colleagues for a drink a few days ago, and we were chatting about our careers and their careers and how my career has changed, and the fact that I'm a totally changed person from I was about 2 or 3 years ago. I've opened up completely, I'm less insular, and I think I'm just a happier person all round.
I've been there for years and years and years and years, and I must tell you that it took me 15 years to get a toilet seat that would stay up without blue tack.
30% of teachers at this school are men, double the national average, but 50% of children of primary age have no contact with male teachers. But there are those out there actively campaigning to get more male teachers, particularly into primary schools. Mike and Martin, welcome to Careerwise. So Mike, what are the TDA doing to encourage more men into primary schools?
We're doing a number of things. We're trying to get male primary teachers in because we don't think that they know enough about the benefits of teaching. We don't think they know enough about the intangible benefits, the joy of working with young people and the differentness of each day, but also the tangibles, the pay. The starting salary for people coming into teaching inside London is 23,000, outside London around 19,000. So there are tangible benefits as well as intangible benefits. So what we're doing is we're making people more aware of that. We're giving them the opportunity as well to talk to teachers, to visit schools, to go on taster courses where they can see what training might be like. And if they are interested in making an application, we're giving them support further down the line.
Martin, what is it about teaching in primary schools for men? Is it seen as intellectually less challenging? Is that why so few are going towards it as a career?
Well, I think the main factors are the ones which are more deeply embedded in our social values. Looking after young children, whether it be educating or caring for them, is still seen fundamentally as a female role. And, you know, that's a long journey to break down those sorts of attitudes. The other very important factor is the panic, you might say, that we have in society at the moment about men touching young children, which any primary practitioner will tell you, you need to touch the pupils on occasion, and that is extremely suspicious when it comes to men in some circles. And I think a lot of young men are aware of that problem.
How much is that a barrier, that kind of perception that, you know, even though in primary schools you're more of a surrogate parent, if you like, than you would be, say, if you were teaching in a secondary school, it's still frowned upon?
I think that the trend we are now in of attracting more mature people into teaching will mean that there will be more fathers who have enjoyed very much fatherhood, who can see the satisfaction to be derived from bringing on younger children. And the other thing is, of course, when primary teachers start training, they soon understand, if they didn't before, that teaching in primary is at least as intellectually stimulating and difficult as teaching in secondary. After all, you've got to teach the whole range of the curriculum.
Great. Well, listen, thanks very much indeed to both of you for coming on Careerwise today. Is the gender of a teacher really that crucial? Fiona Flynn from the TES is visiting a school in West London to investigate.
Well, the TDA have been on a manhunt to try and get more men in primary schools. I thought I'd come and ask the people that matter about whether they think it's important to have men teaching in primary schools or not. Parents and children. Hands up, who has been taught by a male primary school teacher so far in your school career? Everybody. Have there been times when you've been glad to have a male teacher in the school?
Yes, sometimes, because they could know how your lifestyle goes, because they're a male, same as you. I think it's good because they They make you laugh a lot and they say jokes. Women are more used to teaching than men, and men don't really have a good personality.
Men are more interested in doing other jobs, like lots of men are doctors and they football and they take part in sport.
Hands up, who would like to be a teacher when they grow up? All the girls want to become teachers. Do any of the boys want to become teachers?
Actually, I'd rather be a primary school teacher than a high school teacher. Because in high school, since they're like older and growing up, they're going to misbehave more.
I would like to become a teacher because then you can you can encourage little children to become teachers in the future.
So it seems that the children like having a man around the school. I'm going to go and find out what the parents think. Nikki, there's only one male teacher in this school. Does it bother you?
It doesn't bother me particularly. I think that there's a place for male teachers. I think that teachers will be good teachers or bad teachers. I don't think it matters whether they're male or female.
Sarah, you've got a 6-year-old daughter in the school and a 4-year-old boy just coming up. Is it important for them to have a male teacher at some point?
I mean, I think it is. I know that recent research has suggested that boys' performance isn't necessarily enhanced by male teachers, but I think that that's really just one part of schooling. I think it's important for both my daughter and my 2 sons to experience being taught by a male.
So do you think it's important to have men just around the place?
Even if the children aren't being taught by that man, it can provide a good, positive male role model for people, and that might be more of an issue maybe for children from single-parent families. But I think for everybody to see men inside primary schools working in a caring and nurturing environment is a positive thing.
Ladies, you've only got one male teacher in this school. Do you think it's important to have a mix on the school staff in a primary school?
My daughter beginning was so scaring the male teacher, and then she really loved it.
I was quite sceptical about having my daughter going into, especially because it's only 2 daughters and everything like that, and this was the first time they had to go to a male teacher. But we found that it had turned around within a few months, right? So I think, and she was enjoying it, and it was different from the female staff.
So it seems like it's more important to some parents than to others, but I know a lot of primary school teachers don't like being in an all-female staff room, so on behalf of them all, I say bring on the men.
In the meantime, if you want more information about anything you've seen on this week's show, have a look at our website. The address, www.teachers.tv/careerwise. Thanks to all our guests this week. Thanks to you for watching.